President Ramnath Kovind and Prime Minister Narendra Modi to address the inaugural session of Governors' Conference on National Education Policy. The conference will deliberate on the role of National Education Policy 2020 in transforming higher education. In Unlock 4, metros roll out on the tracks in Delhi, Lucknow, Bengaluru and other cities after nearly 5 months of break. Commuters in Mumbai and Kolkata will have to wait a little longer. Passengers will have to wear masks, observe social distancing and follow other precautionary measures in view of the pandemic. Riya Chakravarti questioned for over 6 hours by NCB in Sushant Singh Rajput case. The actor will be questioned for the second straight day today at Narcotics Control Bureau office in Mumbai. National Narcotics Control Bureau busts international module of heroin trafficking in Delhi, seizes huge quantity of drugs worth rupees 48 crore. 7 persons including 1 African national and 1 Burmese national arrested. Number of daily COVID-19 recoveries keep rising in India. Over 70,000 plus recoveries recorded for 2 consecutive days. Globally, confirmed cases reached 2 crore 73 lakh mark. Top seed Novak Djokovic disqualified from US Open after accidentally hitting lineswoman with ball. Djokovic apologizes for the whole incident. Oscar-winning Czech director Jiří Menzel passes away. Menzel was honoured by Government of India with Lifetime Achievement Award at the 44th International Film Festival in Goa in 2013. Good morning, you're watching DD News and I'm Preeti presenting the Bulletin. In the next half an hour, we'll get an account of everything that's been making it to the headlines. Our top story first. President Ramnath Kovind and Prime Minister Narendra Modi will address the inaugural session of the Governors' Conference on National Education Policy through a video link today. The conference, titled Role of National Education Policy 2020, that is NEP, in transforming higher education, is being organized by the Union Education Ministry. NEP 2020 is directed towards major reforms in both school and higher education level. The policy strives for making India into an equitable and vibrant knowledge society. It envisions an India-centered education system that contributes directly to transforming India into a global superpower. The comprehensive transformation aimed the NEP will bring about a paradigm shift in the country's education system and create an enabling and reinvigorated educational ecosystem for a new Atmanirbhar Bharat envisaged by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Education ministers of all states, vice-chancellors of state universities and other senior officials will also attend the conference. And our correspondent Meghna is joining us with more. Meghna, today the inaugural session of the conference of the Governors' Conference on the National Education Policy is to take place. Let us know what is the agenda, and we've given a broad outline of how important and crucial this will be.
Absolutely, Preeti, this is going to be extremely crucial because it is the inaugural session of the Governors' Conference. There will be governors attending as vice-chancellors of universities, and also the education ministers of all the states will be attending it. So what comes important is when we have the national education policy, as I told you that after 1986, this is the first education policy that has come. It becomes very important on the implementation part, and a collective effort from the states is also required. States is also required to actually, implement it in a smooth manner. And when we actually have the topic of role of the National Education Policy 2020 in transforming higher education, it comes at a very important juncture when we know that the examinations are going on and the admission, the season has started and everything. So actually the students and the guardians, all the stakeholders also need to explore what does the National Education Policy 2020 have in store for them, especially when we talk about the higher education. And when we know that there is not only school reforms, major school reforms that the National Education Policy contains, but also it contains a number of reforms in the higher education sector. Not only this, the Prime Minister also in August had said that the implementation, the success of implementation of national education policy is going to definitely determine that how effective it will be on the ground. So it has to be a smooth implementation, undoubtedly. More than that, the Prime Minister has also, touched on the fact that the interdisciplinary educational approach is required. Now, that approach is also required to actually, do away with the earlier existing rigid structures of higher secondary education, and to actually bring in such flexible, multiple entry and exit options in the system, to also create a credit carry forward credit system, so that the students can actually, pursue their passion and do not actually worry about their future or not be restricted to something. This is a paradigm shift of rote learning. This is a paradigm shift from rote learning actually, and a very limited career options. Not only this, the Prime Minister had also earlier emphasized on the new kind of critical thinking, innovative thinking into education, discovery, discussion, analysis, inquiry, all these things to be actually collaborated inside the education system, to actually coexist in the education system. Now, this is not only going to be a new era of education, but it is going to be a new era of a knowledge economy, we can say. So all these things are extremely important. And when the President and the Prime Minister are going to address this governors conference, it becomes extremely important, because there have been many conferences, webinars, there have been virtual conferences, conclaves, which are being conducted on small or larger platforms, to actually, reach out to people and explain about the National Education Policy 2020, because it is relatively new to people, to actually educate them as well. So this becomes extremely important when the President and Prime Minister will themselves, actually address the higher education sector, the challenges that we have lying ahead, and how the states
Yes.
are going to work in absolute sync to actually implement it in a smooth manner, which will be extremely crucial and important at the same time for students as well as all the stakeholders that exist.
All right, Meghna, thank you so much for joining us with those inputs. So that was our correspondent Meghna telling us more about what will be taken up today at the conference. We'll keep you updated. Let's get to other news. Environment Minister Prasar Bharati will chair a webinar today on the first ever International Day of Clean Air for Blue Skies. Javadekar will also review the progress of activities under the National Clean Air Program, that is the NCAP, during the course of the webinar. The webinar will be joined by Principal Secretaries of the Urban Development Departments and Environment Departments of 28 states and 8 union territories. Commissioners of 122 cities, as identified in the NCAP program, will also participate. And while the nation fights against the pandemic with all its might, it is also moving ahead to meet the daily necessities of its people. As part of Unlock 4, metro services today resumed in Delhi, Lucknow, Noida, Bengaluru, Hyderabad and several other cities after a gap of nearly 5 months. The return on tracks is slow and steady with all precautions in place. In Delhi, many metro stations are equipped with auto-thermal screening, hand sanitizing machines, automatic sanitizer dispensers. There are foot pedal switches near the lifts to call them. Button panels are closed for the time being and passengers are being seated alternatively, leaving one seat vacant between them. When standing, passengers are asked to maintain a distance of 1 meter. The wall of the coaches have posters of safety protocols on them. Permission has been given to open only one entry and exit gate. Stoppage time at every station has been increased for at least 10 seconds. For the initial days, Delhi Metro will run in 2 shifts of 4 hours each, from 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. and 4 p.m. to 8 p.m.
बहुत दिनों बाद वर्क है 6 महीना आफ्टर, तो अच्छा लग रहा है। पहले से ज़्यादा फैसिलिटी है। जैसे गेट से एंट्री की तो स्कैनिंग हुई और सैनिटाइज बैग सैनिटाइज, बाहर बस की सुविधा भी नहीं है, तो उसका आपसे मेट्रो ठीक है।
आई एम वेरी थैंकफुल एंड ग्रेटफुल टू द DMRC कि उन्होंने एटलीस्ट ये ट्राई किया और ओपन किया, ये चाहे ट्रायल हो या कुछ भी हो। सो वी आर वेरी ग्रेटफुल फॉर दैट। एंड मैं बोलना चाहूँगी कि हाँ, जैसे चल रहा है तो ये कंटिन्यू हो सकता है तो करें।
ऐसे ही जा रहे थे जी, दुखी होके, कभी मोटरसाइकिल से, कभी बदल के कुछ न कुछ साधन। ये मेट्रो खुल गई, बहुत अच्छा लगा।
पहले तो बहुत परेशान होते, बहुत धक्के खाते जाते थे जी। हम अपनी खुद सेफ्टी रखेंगे जी। बहुत खुश है जी, बहुत खुश है।
In Bengaluru too, metro services resumed from 8 a.m. today. In phase 1, only 6 coach metro trains are running from east to west line. from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. in the morning and 4:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. in the evening. Apart from this, stringent safety measures have been implemented. Guidelines making masks mandatory and maintaining proper social distancing have also been issued. Metro services also resumed at 6 a.m. in Uttar Pradesh's capital Lucknow. Stations and trains have been properly sanitized. The operating time is from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. and the frequency of the trains has also been reduced, and each train comes after a gap of 5.5 minutes. Every guideline issued by Ministry of Health are being followed, and it will be mandatory for all passengers to wear masks.
मेट्रो के संचालन में कोरोना काल के बाद बहुत सारी चेंजमेंट आई है। जगह जगह पे सैनिटाइजर मशीन्स इन्वॉल्व की गई हैं। टोकन सारे सैनिटाइज हो रहे हैं। जो हमारी मेट्रो ट्रेन है हर घंटे सैनिटाइज हो रही है। पैसेंजरों के लिए एक सीट छोड़ करके बैठने की व्यवस्था की गई है। ट्रेन में स्टिकर्स लगा दिए गए हैं। अनाउंसमेंट कुछ एडवांस ऐड किए गए हैं जिससे कि लोग अवेयर रहें, और हमें टीओ को भी बहुत ज़्यादा ही अवेयरनेस की नीड दी गई है, जिसमें ग्लव्स एंड मास्क और टाइम पे सैनिटाइज करना, हैंड सैनिटाइजर, जिससे पैसेंजरों को कोई भी दुविधा का वो ना उठाना पड़े।
मेट्रो चलने से ये फ़ायदा होगा कि जो हम लोगों को डिफ़िकल्टी हो रही थी कि जो नॉर्मल निकलने में, वैसे जो ऑटो जो चल रही थी, तो इससे ये फ़ायदा हो जाएगा कि जो ज़्यादा सुविधाएं हैं वो हम लोगों को मेट्रो में मिलेगी, या ट्रांसपोर्ट जो यहाँ की सुविधाएं हैं वो यूज़ कर पाएंगे अपने लोकल जो है।
And for more updates on this, we're joined in by our correspondents, Tapas Bhattacharya, who's joining us from Delhi, and Aisha Khanam is joining us from Bengaluru. Tapas, to begin with you, the Delhi Metro services have resumed the operations today at 7 a.m. Let us know, how has the day begun?
Yes, absolutely, Preeti. So, the first, after almost 169 days, Delhi Metro has resumed its operation, and the first line that has been resumed operation is the yellow line from Samaypur Badli to Huda City Centre, which is almost 49 kilometers at the stretches. And in this stretch there are almost 37 stations. So, keeping the COVID situation in mind, Delhi Metro has issued the safety protocol. They have issued the social distancing protocol for commuters, and they have told them that they have to maintain the social distancing and have to wear masks all the time, irrespective of whether they are in the station or they are in the metro and the train. So all these things keeping in mind, they started with many commuters who were little hesitant and reluctant in the beginning, but keeping when they saw the situation at the ground zero at the station, and the manner in which the Delhi Metro has taken things in their hand and has put in place the safety measures, they felt a lot more confident, and that says a lot about the preparedness of Delhi Metro.
All right, Tapas, I also see people behind you. Let us know more about the reactions, though we've seen reactions coming in from people in different parts of the country who've used Metro. Let us know more about what reactions did you, get to hear. I'm sure there is a sigh of relief among the passengers who came out, who stepped out to go through the Metro today.
Absolutely. One has to understand that Delhi Metro is the lifeline of Delhi. Almost more than 380 kilometers of Delhi Metro line was working pre-COVID time, and so and most of the people, especially the lower middle class as well as the economically socially backward class, use Delhi Metro. It's a cheap mode of transport, of public transport, from traveling from one end to another. So they missed that, and once as we spoke about the fact that it's unlocked for it's going on, and people are now slowly getting back to their day-to-day life, it was imperative that Delhi Metro resumes its services and provide that huge sigh of relief to the commuters, to the common man who use this line, who uses the services of Delhi Metro in their day-to-day life. So without the services of Delhi Metro traveling in the cities, traveling in the national capital is a Herculean task because apart from that, the only public transport was working which was used quite considerably was the bus service, and we have seen a lot of people were actually thronging to the bus station. So this metro service will give a huge boost to the people who are actually traveling, who are trying to make a living at this particular time.
All right, Tapas, from here we go across to our correspondent Aisha Khanam, who's joining us from Bengaluru. Aisha, Namma Metro there has resumed services at 8 a.m. You tell us, how has the day begun there?
Well, Preeti, the purple line today started functioning and started from Bayapanahally to Mysore Road, which is about 18-kilometer route. And but so far it's a very damp response right now because people are still, maybe thinking and hesitating to take metro here. But the safety measures that the Metro Corporation has taken are really encouraging. Here behind me you can see the Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Vidhan Saudha metro station here, and all the safety precautions we can see here. There are contactless infrared scanners, where people can just show their hand and enter the metro station. And then there are guidelines, there are standard operating procedures that are in place. And also the fact that Metro has made all the arrangements inside the coaches to see to that there is no crowding and there is alternate seating arrangements. So this purple line is very important as far as Bangalore is concerned, because this connects all the central business district. So this has very important stations. If it starts from Bayapanahally, it goes till Mysore Road, and the major stations that it connects is Vidhan Saudha and the Majestic, that is Bangalore railway station. So a lot of people are dependent on this route, and now today with the beginning of this route, this could be a little early because there is not much crowding as we see here at the outside the station. And also Metro has made it very clear that there should be no crowding at the station. There should be only 400 people who can travel at a time, and also when they reach the station they should maintain all the safety norms. So these have been propagated, these have been told to the people, but still we don't see that kind of crowd which we normally see at the Vidhan Saudha metro station, because hundreds of people board and deboard here, because this is the place at Vidhan Saudha where hundreds of people work here. But today we don't see that kind of crowd. But then, yes, when Metro begins, the ecosystem which is dependent on Metro, like these auto rickshaws, who are, the last mile connectivity, they are dependent, their income is dependent on this last mile connectivity. So they are excited about the fact that Metro has started and people will come, because this will be, the auto rickshaws, are dependent on this short distance routes which people take coming to the Metro. So right now in Bangalore we see that the economic activity, especially in the central business district, resuming. Despite on the other hand, we see that the number of cases in Bangalore are higher compared to other districts in Karnataka. But still, the fact that the Metro Corporation has made all the safety arrangements and norms and the guidelines are in place, people are encouraged to take Metro, and the Metro Corporation is hoping that very soon in the second phase, when the second phase begins on September 11th, the services will resume normal.
All right, so a steady, slow, steady start of the metro services witnessed there in Bangalore and Delhi. Thank you so much, both of you, for joining us with your input. So those were our correspondents, Tapas and Aisha Khanam, joining us from Delhi and Bengaluru respectively, telling us about the metro services which have resumed from today onwards. We'll keep you updated in the day that follows. Let's get to other updates now. Civil Aviation Minister Hardeep Singh Puri and Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath, along with Airports Authority of India officials, reviewed progress of upcoming international airport at Kushinagar. Now, Kushinagar is one of the most important Buddhist pilgrimage sites. An international airport will provide direct air connectivity to the pilgrims, tourists and visitors to this ancient town. Now, apart from this, other civil aviation infrastructure and connectivity work for Varanasi, Gorakhpur, Agra and Lalitpur were also discussed. Meanwhile, construction progress of other airports at Ayodhya, Chitrakoot, Sonbhadra and Shravasti were also reviewed.
मैं आभारी हूं आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने इसे अंतर्राष्ट्रीय एयरपोर्ट के रूप में मान्यता दी और आज स्वयं भारत सरकार के नागरिक उड्डयन मंत्री माननीय श्री हरदीप सिंह पुरी जी ने यहां पर आकर के इसका रिव्यू किया है। केंद्र सरकार और राज्य सरकार मिलकर के प्रदेश में पर्यटन की ढेर सारी संभावनाओं को आगे बढ़ाने का कार्य कर रही है। इसमें कुशीनगर का अंतर्राष्ट्रीय एयरपोर्ट हमारा प्रदेश का चौथा एयरपोर्ट है। अब तक हमारे पास 2 अंतर्राष्ट्रीय एयरपोर्ट हैं। जेवर में तीसरा एयरपोर्ट हमें इंटरनेशनल एयरपोर्ट के रूप में मिला और अब ये पूरब में हमें कुशीनगर में चौथा इंटरनेशनल एयरपोर्ट हमें मिला है। अगले 1.5-2 महीने के अंदर यहाँ पर हम एयर ट्रैफिक शुरू कर लेंगे। इंटरनेशनल वायु सेवा यहाँ पे शुरू हो जाएगी।
Narcotics Control Bureau will question actress Rhea Chakraborty for the second day today in the drugs case linked to actor Sushant Singh Rajput death case. The agency is likely to record her statement as well. Rhea was questioned for about 6 hours by NCB yesterday. On Friday, Rhea's brother Shouvik Chakraborty and Sushant Singh Rajput's house manager Samuel Miranda were arrested in connection with the case. The authorities also arrested Sushant Singh Rajput's domestic help, Dipesh Sawant, who has been sent to NCB's custody till September 9th. Till now, the agency has arrested 7 persons in the case. Sushant Singh Rajput was found hanging at his Mumbai residence on June 14th. Mumbai police first started investigation in the actor's death case. Subsequently, due to some dispute with Bihar police, the case was given to Supreme Court. Where the apex court ordered a CBI inquiry into the case. At the same time, after the financial angle came into the Enforcement Directorate questioned Rhea Chakraborty while registering a case against her. Now the Narcotics Control Bureau is investigating the case after the drug angle appeared in the case. Meanwhile, NCB has busted an international module of heroin trafficking in Delhi. Around 12 kilograms of heroin linked in investigation and around 2 kilograms of heroin seized and 2 parcels of quantity unknown have been traced live and would be seized soon. The agency has arrested 7 persons, including 1 African national and 1 Burmese national. Now, according to the agency, unique modus operandi of operating in various layers through courier uncovered. Now, the mastermind of the syndicate is operating from outside India and has created various layers of logistics and fake documents utilization. The NCB team meticulously conducted the operation and made the first arrest thereafter. The credentials of Burmese national and African national are being verified. The international value of seized heroin is more than 48 crore rupees. And now a quick look at the worst affected states in the country because of COVID-19. Maharashtra continues to top the chart, recording 23,350 new cases yesterday. While 7,826 patients were discharged, 328 patients died in the past 24 hours. So far, there are 2,35,857 active cases in the state. In Karnataka, 9,319 new cases were reported yesterday, while 9,575 patients were discharged. 95 deaths were also reported in the last 24 hours. So far, there are 99,266 active cases in the state. In Tamil Nadu, 5,783 persons tested positive yesterday. 88 deaths were reported, while 5,820 patients were discharged. Tamil Nadu government has promulgated an ordinance making violations of guidelines on COVID-19 lockdown and preventive measures compoundable offences. In the national capital, Delhi, 3,256 new cases were reported yesterday and 2,188 patients recovered, while 29 died in the past 24 hours. Currently, there are 20,909 active cases in the state. And the Ministry of Women and Child Development is celebrating the Poshan Ma in convergence with partner ministries and departments at national, states, union territories, district and grassroots level. The objective of the Poshan Ma is to encourage Jan Bhagidari in order to create a Jan Andolan for addressing malnutrition amongst young children and women. The importance of nutrition in our lives was recently emphasized by Prime Minister Modi in his Man Ki Baat radio program on August 30th. Prime Minister drew attention towards the role played by nutrition in helping children and students to attain their optimum potential. Ministry of Women and Child Development is encouraging all stakeholders to use digital platforms like social media, online activities, podcasts and e-samvad to disseminate information about importance of nutrition in our lives. A webinar series is also being hosted in which experts and health professionals will throw light on the important aspects of health and nutrition. Oscar-winning Czech film director Jiří Menzel has died at the age of 82 years after battling serious health problems for a long time. Menzel won an Academy Award for the Best Foreign Language Film with Closely Watched Trains, a Second World War drama in 1967. In 2013, he was honored with Lifetime Achievement Award at the 44th International Film Festival of India. Born on 23rd February 1938, Menzel studied film direction in Prague, graduating in 1962. He was in 1960s, he was one of the leading figures of the Czechoslovak new wave of cinema alongside another Oscar winner, Miroslav Forman. In 2006, he shot his last film inspired by Rabbi, I Served the King of England. Up next, some sports news. World number 1 and favourite for the men's singles title at the US Open, Novak Djokovic is out of the competition via a default. Djokovic and his petulant tendencies flirted with disaster once again on Sunday night when he was sensationally defaulted from the US Open. The Serb was kicked out of the Flushing Meadows as, in a flash of temper, he angrily swiped a ball away that struck a female line judge in the throat. While clearly not aiming for her, the ball hit the official. The rules are quite clear. He had to go. Djokovic will lose all the ranking points and will be fined the prize money he won for reaching the round of 16, as per the statement issued by the organizers. And Djokovic later in social media said that he was sad and empty after being disqualified. He wrote, and I quote him, "I checked on the Lions person and the tournament told me that thank God she is feeling okay. I'm extremely sorry to have caused her such stress. So unintended, so wrong. I'm not disclosing her name to respect her privacy. As for the disqualification, I need to go back within and work on my disappointment and turn this all into a lesson for my growth and evolution as a player and a human being. I apologize to the US Open tournament and everyone associated for my behavior. I am so sorry." That's it in this edition of the News Sathar. Thanks for watching. Namaskar.